kind of, you know, I can't live by your rules, man. But wait, no, listen to the time, remember, with the clarinet is not much different from the flute. And in the early 70s, Jethro Tull were a band who were very popular, and their singer played the flute in tights and on one leg. Good times. Good time. You did all that, didn't you? God, that is so lame when you look back at it. Do you know, I have a friend, actually. Well, he's not a friend. I don't have friends. But I know this guy. No, I know a guy. There's a guy I know called Patrick Doyle. He's a music composer, but he used to be an actor. And he told me he did his first ever acting job he was playing a flute and wore tights. His first gig as a performer, he was very excited about it. I was talking to him one night, you know, when we were acting. Not really, just hanging around waiting. But he told me his first job was in a geriatric nursing home. As an actor, this is true, and, you know, he was getting his tights on. They had a little screen for the actors to change before they went out, and he's getting his tights on, and, you know, they're wheeling in the geriatrics, you know, and he heard them, you know, shouting, "When's it gonna start? When's it gonna start?" And he's getting all excited. His first job, he puts his tights on, he gets his little flute, and he jumps out and says, "I am the gnome of Zurich." And the same voice goes, "When's it gonna finish? When's it gonna finish?" True story. Yeah. Welcome to show business. Anyway, what was I talking about? iPods. When I was growing up in the prehistoric days before iPods, the family had this big thing called a hi-fi system called the Music Centre. It was in the 70s, took up half the room, a section for a record player and a radio. 8-track was just a distant dream in the future at that point. And my parents played ballroom music and country and western music, and that's it, really. But on Sunday nights in Britain, between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, the whole family would gather around the radio. There was TV, but it was all religious programs that was on. And it wasn't even like the religious programs where people were telling you stuff, like, you know, you better touch the screen and send me money. It was none of that. It was none of that. It was British religious programs, which is just basically, they take a camera into a church and everyone's singing, "Oh, Lord, so nobody really watches it. Anyway, we would gather around the radio to listen to the pop charts. They would do the count. This is an institution in Britain. Everyone would listen to the countdown on the pop charts. Everybody. You know, it was like, number 8 this week, David Bowie with Rebel Rebel. And you know, my mum would even listen to it. You know, "Oh, David Bowie's fallen 3 spots this week." "Serves him right, the skinny poof. Why? I can't wait for the 1990s so that the Macarena will be written. And I can join it. It'll be something like this. Hung dugga dung Macarena." Man, I'm really high tonight. I can't keep track of it. What? Oh, so, listen, this was back then, and when they had the big music centres, technology was in its infancy. Even phones, even when the phone rang in there was no cell phones. When the phone rang in our house, it was a big deal. And only my dad was allowed to answer the phone. You know, the phone was in the hall, and my dad was the only person allowed to answer it. And the phone would ring, and he'd go, "Oh, the phone," and he'd go and put on a coat and a tie and everything and get ready. We'd all have to get dressed up, stand in the family next to the phone, and ring, ring, ring. And then my dad would pick it up and go, "Hello, Cumbernauld 21647. Wrong number, okay. How's the weather where you are? Yes, raining here too. Yes, the English are bastards. Yes, right, talk to you later." Because you'd have to have a conversation, even if it was a wrong number, because it was the giant rotary phones. If you'd gone through all that trouble to dial someone, you didn't want to just say, "Wrong number," and hang up. And everyone had stronger fingers back then. You know, with all the dialing. These days, the only exercise my fingers get is flipping people off in traffic. If I did not flip people off in traffic, my hands, they would be like noodles in the end of floppy disk. I'd be walking like this. I kind of walk like that anyway. I miss the old phones, you know, the big serious you know, Bakelite, you know, heavy phones for serious news. You know, declare war on Germany. That type of phone. You can't deliver serious phones with a little, you know, your serious message in a phone that size, a little blue thing with Mickey Mouse on it and stuff. It's squeaky big. Phones are shrinking like iPods. You know, I hate the phones that they're not even big enough to get from your ear to your mouth. What? You can't use that. You know, I can hear you, and then I've got to talk, and you can't slam the phone down with one of those tiny phones. You know, you can't. You're fired. I never want to speak to you again. Yeah? All right. You ever see the people walking down the street with a little phone thing on, and you don't know they've got a phone on? They're just walking down going, blah, blah, blah. It's like everybody looks like a crazy hobo. Which is great for crazy hobos, because now crazy hobos look like studio executives. Put Tom Cruise in it. There, I feel I've got that out of my system.
Worldwide Pants.